Hello, and welcome to another edition of Keylingo Live. My name is Frederick Marks, and we really appreciate you joining us today. Today, we are going to continue our series called Lessons from Leaders. And what is the show about generally? We are going to be, and we have been, hosting accomplished leaders, and we're going to be talking for the next hour and providing you with interesting stories about their journey, and also understanding pivotal lessons that they've learned. So for the next hour, you're going to get lots of interesting nuggets that will help you in your professional journey as well. We've actually got something really new to do today, and we are going to be having a raffle. Our guest today is an author, an award-winning author, and we're going to be raffling off 2 books during the live event. If you want to participate in the raffle, which we hope you do, you will need to comment on the LinkedIn event during the live stream. Additionally, we're going to extend the opportunity to comment for 2 days afterward for those watching the on-demand version of this event. And the raffle is going to take place on Monday, May the 6th, and the winners will be announced in a LinkedIn post. For the winners residing in the US, we're going to be arranging for you to receive a signed physical copy of the book. Super cool. And for winners outside of the US, you're going to be getting a Kindle version. So participants who comment multiple times will increase their chances of winning. This whole thing is going to be very transparent. You're going to be able to see the process live. So we wish you luck and happy reading. You're going to really enjoy the book if you're the winner. Now, before we get started, we want to hear from you. Let's get a little practice with engagement here. Tell us where you're joining us from. Just give us your location and engage with us throughout the show. And don't forget to ask us comments or state comments, ask us questions so that you can up your chances of winning the lottery. So today's episode is really cool. We're going to be introducing another very accomplished leader. And before I get into the actual introduction of this amazing person, we're going to have an engagement lesson here. So I want you to look at your screen. There's going to be a QR code there, and we want to get everybody's mindset in the right place for this particular edition of Keylingo Live. And this particular mentee is about leadership, and which area of your leadership journey are you most interested in exploring today? And you're gonna, when you scan that QR code, you're gonna get a set of multiple choice questions. Is it a sales mindset, your personal brand, boosting productivity, or cultivating resilience? Maybe it's all of those, but for today's mentee, we want you to choose just one. Now, while you're engaging with that mentee, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest today, which I am super excited to do. Her name is Kristin Gutierrez, and I was challenged with saying that correctly. And she is one of the most sought after speakers in the language services industry and beyond. She likes to talk about practical tools that finally get unstuck and help us start making progress toward our goals, no matter how big or small. She's a 2-time Stevie Award winner, best-selling author. This is where the raffle comes in. She's the best-selling author of Be a Better Sales Leader. She's an international keynote speaker, and she's on a mission to empower leaders to get out of their own way, make a bigger impact, and lead beyond their roles. So with that, I'd like to welcome Kristin to the show. Are you there? Hey, Kristin.
What's up? I'm here. You said my last name better than I do. So
how are you? It's great to see you.
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. And I see there's people here from Peru, from Lima, from Cordoba. from other
Absolutely.
places in Argentina, France. So thank you from Italy. Thank you,
Oh my
everybody,
God.
for joining us. Yes.
Yeah. And I want to extend a special thanks to you, Kristin, because for those of you who may not know, Kristin is on the West Coast of the United States. So it is 8 a.m. Eastern time there. And look at her. Amazing. So put together. I understand you've already taken care of family stuff and you've got your big cup of coffee. So we're ready to roll here, right?
That's right. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know we're quickly diving into this, but before we get into the questions, let's see where people's mindset is today on the QR code. Let's see if the production team has got some results on the Menti. Where is your, oh, okay. All right. Which area, it looks like, man, which area of your leadership journey are you most interested in exploring today? Looks like boosting productivity has got the biggest piece of the pie. And then the others are kind of similar, but I think sales mindset, my eyes are too bad to see those small numbers, but I can see the slices of the pie, but we've got a nice mix there. What are your initial thoughts upon seeing this distribution, Kristin?
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised that we're all over the place, right? Because everybody's focusing on something different at any given time. But I'm also like, boosting productivity is so, it's just like, how do we work smarter, not harder? And what are the tricks and the tips to like actually getting people to respond to outreach? I don't know if people want to comment on from a productivity standpoint, like what it is you're hoping to get out of it. But yeah, we can cover all of this. This is great.
Awesome. And before I go any further, I also want to extend a special welcome to Kristin's audience, which I know you've done an amazing job building. So hello, Kristin's audience, everybody out there, please, please, please comment. Let's see who's going to win those 2 books today, one of which is going to be personally signed by Kristin herself. So there it is. Be a better sales leader. On my side, it's backwards, but you get the idea, right, people? There you go. All right. Well, this is our second time doing this, but we like to sort of get the creative juices flowing here by playing a little icebreaker game. So are you ready to do a little icebreaker before we get into the question?
I don't know. Yeah. What?
All right. Well, let's get into this. This is a game where all you have to do is complete the sentence. Okay. So question 1, what's the weirdest item on your desk right now?
I have a lot of weird items, but I'm looking at them all right now. It is I carry a tape measure with me wherever I go.
Wait, back up. That's weird. Everywhere you go, you carry a tape measure. What are you measuring all the time,
Because I
Kristin?
was like obsessed with wanting to like expand our house. And so I would just like
I'm imagining you at a speaking engagement, like, wait, let me measure this lectern. What is the screen?
Oh, that's really my face turned.
All right. Okay. That's a really good weird thing on your desk. What do we got next? Okay. One powerful strategy for boosting sales confidence is.
Oh, that's a big left turn. One powerful strategy for boosting sales confidence is to lean back. It's like dating, right? Have you ever like dated somebody, like remember meeting your spouse, or like in high school when you were like super anxious or like needy, or you felt that energy back? Look how Frederick like leaned back. Lean back.
I'm feeling more relaxed all of a sudden. Thank you.
Nope. Not everybody needs to buy from us, right? Like the right person will buy from you. We need a sale. You might need a sale, but the right person will buy from you. So lean back.
I love that. Okay. What do we got next? If I were a superhero, I'd be
Spider-Man, because my kids are obsessed.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You have young kids.
I want to know
Spider-Man.
in the chat what you all would be if you were a superhero. So tell us in the chat what you would be.
Yes, and you can make up your own superhero if you want. Okay, where we go? It's a quick game. They're rapid fire here. A simple but effective productivity tip that you recommend is
Get your blood moving. Movement builds momentum. We could talk about
okay.
that all day long. So, like, can you stand up from your desk once in a while, walk to the mailbox, walk around the block? It doesn't have to be some big monumental, like, "Oh, I have to put my gym clothes on and I have to go do this thing." Drop and give me 20, right?
Nice, nice. 20 what? Are we talking sit-ups, push-ups, burpees, mountain climbers? What do you got? What's your
Dealer's
favorite?
choice. Yeah.
Jumping jacks? I don't know. Squats? There's a lot of things. Anyway, I digress. Okay. My secret talent that no one at work knows about is
This has come up 3 times recently, but I know how to very well play the flute. I wanted to be in the orchestra growing up. So there we go. Yes.
I'm sorry for laughing. I'm just imagining some scenes from some movies that I've seen that are just really funny with the flute. But as I told you in the lead up to this live event today, that I also discovered that my wife is a flautist, and I did not know that until we discovered a dusty case in the garage as we were moving. Suddenly, she busts out some Jethro Tull, and from then on, I respected her on a whole new level.
Yeah. Deadpool. Hold on, we've got some superheroes in the chat. I like Wonder Woman. That one is like, you nailed Wonder Woman. Like, hello,
Okay.
Wonder Woman. I love that.
Nice.
But
Deadpool.
yes, yeah, Deadpool. I see that too. That's awesome.
Yeah. It looks like we're going back and forth to like funny stuff and like serious stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Last one of the opening rapid fire round is the most impactful leadership lesson I've learned is
Ask for help.
Okay. Yeah. That's something that I think a lot of, especially leaders or people that are in leadership positions, that's something we're afraid to do, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think back on my career on how you don't know before you become a leader, you don't realize that everybody became a leader because of the people that they were surrounded by, because of their mentors. You know, Women in Localization has a phenomenal mentor-mentee program, for example, and there's other ways to find mentors, but asking for help and getting a mentor is definitely something that changed my trajectory.
Definitely. I love that one. And I'll say it again that, I think a lot of people in leadership might be afraid to ask for help because there might be this underlying assumption in the person's mind that maybe people think that I should already know that. And so they might be afraid to ask for help. But it's almost always the case that when you have a question about something, a lot of other people have it too. And asking for help is always something that's respected. Awesome. Like, we got some really cool comments coming in. OMG, love that. Guess the Beatles were right. Definitely Wonder Woman. Okay. I love these comments. All right. We got to get into the questions because we only have an hour. And once again, folks, I just want to remind you to engage with us. Keep the comments coming. Follow us on LinkedIn. Check out Kristin's LinkedIn presence. Also, her entire social media presence. She's all over the place and doing a great job. And we're honored to have her on the show today. And I know everybody came here looking for some nuggets of wisdom from you today. And we've prepared some questions in advance, and we've broken them down a little bit into sections. And the first section we're going to talk about is career journey. So if anybody out there is thinking about their career journey, which probably a lot of you are, I know we spend a lot of time thinking about, oh my gosh, what's next? What does the future look like, etc. We're going to talk about Kristin's career journey. So question 1, what initially sparked your interest in pursuing a career in sales, Kristin?
Well, truthfully, I think it was innate. My mother was a very successful pharmaceutical drug rep. My father, still to this day, sells paper and packaging products in like northern Indiana to big manufacturing plants, etc. And my sister was an attorney, which basically means she's also in sales, right? And I
Exactly.
firmly believe that like everyone is in sales and service. Right out of college, I don't know if you guys have to let us know in the chat. In other countries a long time ago, did you have like we called it the yellow book? Frederick, you know
Oh,
that the
yeah,
yellow
yeah, yeah.
book.
The yellow
Way back.
pages.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
pages. Oh, there
Oh,
was a big
I don't
there
know
was a
why I
big
did that, but go ahead.
there was a big book that would get dropped off because this is before the internet existed. And this is how you found phone numbers for like your pizza delivery or your haircut salon or whatever, and each other's phone numbers. Right. So anyway, I sold Yellow Page advertising, which is crazy, right
Wow.
out of college. And then I share the story in the book, but soon after that, I ended up in this industry and I've never looked back.
Wow, that's really interesting. I love what you said about everybody being in sales. And I
Yeah.
think that that is so true. But at the same time, I think that a lot of people think, "Oh, I'm not in sales." I read a statistic once that said that no matter what your professional role is, you're spending about 40% of your time, both in a professional and personal context, trying to convince someone to do something that you want them to do. And
Mm-hmm.
you have kids, so for you, it's probably 80% of your time when you throw in your professional as well. But I'm a firm believer in sales training, or being good at sales, or being better at sales, no matter what your job role is. If you
Yes.
want a raise, if you want a promotion, if you want somebody on a team of yours to do something to make sure that the team does a good job within the context of the greater organization, you are selling. So don't forget about that. So Be a Better Sales Leader would be something that they should read, right, Kristin? Right
Yeah.
away.
So one thing I love to do is get brought into language service companies and do a workshop on this concept of seller's mindset. So I love to see that in the poll because, especially in the context of our industry, you're right. I mean, you're cross-functionally collaborating, i.e. negotiating with every department, with all of your colleagues, no matter the day or time. On the one hand, because they're all working to do their own projects. And no matter what, if you're in HR or you're in project management and you're asking another department to do something, you're asking them to put aside their project and prioritize yours. And that requires like human connectivity, clear communication, negotiation. And so you hit that on the head. But the workshop really is, what I've done successfully is like talking to project management teams, and a lot of language companies that bring me in, they're kind of small. So I'll train the whole entire team, because finance, project management, operations, sales, obviously leadership, everybody is interacting with the clients at different parts, and how to have a friendly tone, how to ask for referrals, how to like continue to give a good customer experience. And I often say, and we can move on, but like coming from Lionbridge, formerly SDL, Trends Perfect for the first 10 years of my career, if we've never worked at a big organization like that, we don't realize those project managers, it is not in their job description that they are in sales, but those project managers, their skill level is up here. It is like level 9,000. They are required to run QBR, quarterly business reviews, with their clients. They are required to interact. They are required to ask about budget. They are required to ask who else in your company has a need for us, and because they're interacting so much with the accounts. And often at smaller LSPs, I see that like, well, that's not my job. Right. And so it just kind of in to shift the perspective and get everybody excited about it because it should be fun.
Oh my gosh. I hope my Keylingo teammates are listening to Kristin right now, because we do that at Keylingo. We're like, we try to maintain a dynamic skill set where you're not only excellent at project management, but you're excellent at asking those really critical questions about budget and things like that. When who's interacting with the customer most frequently? It's the project managers. So yeah, great comments there. Nuggets for, I'm sure, so many people out there listening to us. We could go on all day just on that one, but we are going to move on. Okay. Like most people's careers, and we have seen this at Keylingo, I saw it myself, especially early in my career. We have these things called pivots, where we're going in one direction and we say, wow, maybe I'll go in this other direction. I just feel like it's right for me. And you've had some pivots. I have watched with amazement your career in, let's say, the recent times, at least sort of unfold in front of my eyes and then unfold in front of a lot of people's eyes. And I really respect how you have just, and you talk a lot about it in your posts, like, oh my gosh, I was surprised by this happening in my career. I had to sort of, I got knocked down and I had to get up, and that resulted in a pivot, and you have certainly landed on your feet. And I'd like you, if you would, talk us through the decision-making process behind not only your most recent career pivot, but any pivot that you'd like to discuss with the audience today.
Yeah. Yes. If anybody was in Lima, Peru for the Vamos Juntos conference, I talked about Carrie Fisher, and she was there also, Carrie Fisher from Subway. And about a year ago, she tagged me in a post about grit and resilience. And it really, I was so honored that she thinks of me. The post was all about how I'm one of the grittiest, most resilient people she knows because of the pivots that she had seen me make, kind of to your point, right? Whether it's a choice or whether it's not, life happens for us, not to us. So write that down, right? Life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And it's not easy to always keep a sunny disposition. But if we practice gratitude, there is just nothing that really can stand in our way. Do we have tough days? Yes. And as an entrepreneur, without anyone else's brand affected by my posts, so many people have said to me in the last 13 months since stepping out into my own that they have never seen me like, then the word authentic became so popularized last year, but truly, she said to me, I've never seen you living so authentically on screen as you do off screen. Like your personas are like identical. And I think that that is the thing that we should all strive for. As it relates to pivots, I think, one of my biggest thing is failing forward. And this is kind of why we see this concept of resilience popping up. I did a live stream with Marina Ilari, the head of Terra Translations. And we talked about this concept of failing forward and how it's just so, we can't think of it as failure. We have to think of it as like growth opportunity. Yes. So me personally, then I just, you might resonate with this. The other founders, the other owners out there, the other C-level leaders, it is so fulfilling working for myself. Like I showed up today at 7:50 a.m. because I get to do this, not because I have to do this. And that is why you're like, wow, you're glowing. I'm like, because I'm so happy and I am so fulfilled living this journey, and then being able to use my skill set to serve others is just sincerely like, I don't know if I answered your question, but this is how I feel about it. And I'm just like fired up.
Man, I'm having a hard time staying sitting down. You know, if the camera would follow me when I stood up, I'd go ahead and do it. But you guys would be looking at my belly. So anyway, I'll stay seated. But wow, what an incredible number of nuggets there. Life doesn't happen to you; it happens for you. Fail forward. I love these. These are such great nuggets for everyone. And I'm sure that a lot of people have heard like different versions of those things that you just shared with us, but they're all so important to just have in your mind when things happen, when you think things happen to you. And I love what you said about, I get to do this. This is awesome. And I think as an entrepreneur myself, one of the things I love, in addition to practicing those things myself, is to also create a space where other people in your organization get to feel that same way too. Did they start Keylingo? No. But are they empowered to make decisions that impact the company, impact themselves, grow professionally? Absolutely, yes. So I would say that Keylingo is like a company full of entrepreneurs. And I really like that about Keylingo. And I would just say, to wrap up that first question, is people, this is awesome what you're getting here. You're getting it for free, but people pay a lot of money to get this stuff from Kristin. So hang on to your hats. We're going deeper here. You've worked for several of the largest LSPs in the world, Kristin. What are some of the biggest differences? You already shared one, differences and similarities you've observed between these large companies and smaller ones.
I thought about this yesterday in preparation, and it's the people. Like the reality is, this is a people-based business. No matter the technology that exists today versus that existed in 2005, everyone freaked out about TM2, right? It's really the people. When I worked at old school SDL in 2005, I'm pretty sure we were around 500 million at the time. This is like the number that's in my head. And I'm exaggerating only by 1%. We had like 8 enterprise sales reps. This is it. 8 enterprise sales. Now, there was a couple of program managers in the Maidenhead UK headquarters doing like the HP accounts and others, but like 8 enterprise sales reps, not hundreds of sales reps like TransPerfect has now. But the point is, people is, no matter who you are, where you work, what business you have, one of your core differentiators as a company, right? And so in LSP land, you should carve out what are your 2 to 3 different differentiators, because we're all selling the same thing, right? We're just selling it a slightly different way. And is it a race to the bottom, or can you find a differentiator, right? This is where my innovation framework that I created when I was at ULG just really became so predominant, because while we had really great differentiators as a company when I was there, this innovation framework, I tested it as a way to save an account. It was kind of like a framework we created in reverse to save an account. And then ultimately I tested it again at a different account, and it worked. And then I started testing it on for different services and solutions, and it kept working. And then I taught my team how to use it, and it kept working. And then I speak at ALC Amplify a couple years ago, and it kept working, right? And so I think that is like, who are your people and what do they know? And how can you leverage people throughout the company? One thing I want to end on this, because I know like time is like crazy right now. We're running out of time already. But one thing I've always said is, if you're an LSP, think about putting together, I don't have the right adjective for it right now, but like a group that's made up of a leader or person from every cross-functional department you have, like a think tank. Could you spend an hour a month or a quarter getting together these cross-functional people that aren't normally meeting and talking about the challenges you have, the bottlenecks you're facing, and brainstorm innovation and differences? To a degree, these large-scale enterprise size LSPs do this because There's so much talent and they're selling such big, large programs that often there's like 20 people involved in a
Mm.
multi-million dollar program, right? And some LSPs, they don't even have 20 people. So how do we think like them while staying as nimble and agile as we are on this end of the spectrum? And that's one great way to do it, is create like a think tank.
That's great. Once again, excellent answer. Thank you so much. I specifically loved how you started the answer to that question and said the difference is people, and that so many companies in our industry and in a lot of other industries are selling the same things, just in different ways. I started out my career in banking, so I sold money for several years. And talk about selling the same thing. I mean, there's a bunch of banks out there vying for people's business. It's money. So what made the difference? It wasn't the rates or the ratios or anything. It was the people interacting with the customer. And the same is true in the language services industry. People make the difference. The language that you use, the person that you are, the training that you have, it all makes the difference. So excellent, excellent answer. All right, let's keep moving. What do we have next? Okay. All right, here we go. Could you tell us about a particularly impactful moment where you saw a leader successfully overcome a major obstacle with your guidance? What was the key takeaway from the experience?
Oh, I love this question. So somebody who reported directly to me as a leader. She was a program manager when I met her. She had grown through the operations rank as a PM, senior PM, program manager, which is something that bigger, mid-sized to bigger LSPs have. It's kind of like a keeper of a strategic account from an operational perspective. So she was my program manager for a couple multi-million dollars on different accounts. And I went out on maternity leave and I came back and I told my boss, oh my gosh, I've been made redundant in my own accounts because she's just too good. And then she said, hey, actually, I want to transfer over to sales. And so after several months, we were able to get her to move over to sales as an account manager. And she's like, hey, I really want to speak at a conference. And I've never done that. And this is where I'm answering this question this way because the poll I saw reflected on personal branding. And I am like a huge advocate of thought leadership, AKA personal branding, and how to increase your presence. And so I had already successfully figured out the system, the trick, the secret to getting recognized, to getting to speak at Loc World, for example, to getting to speak at industry events. And then I use that same system to win awards, to get featured in magazines, to, et cetera. And so I taught her the system where she knew nobody. Because she was brand new to sales, basically, right? She'd been exposed to like 2 key accounts for like the last 8 years. So she knew nobody and she really wanted to speak at Loc World. And we used my reverse engineer snowball framework, as I call it, to not only land a panel at Loc World with like Edith Bendermacher from NetApp, Cattell from Netflix, Anna Trejo from Target, but it was like one of the most attended panels that Loc World. And then, so she was like, she killed it. So she didn't only do it, she like nailed it. And it was a very rewarding experience because I had been trying to lead other horses to water. Like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So like, guys, this framework works. You got to try it. And like, people have to want to try it. And there's so many different ways that this framework can be applied to contributors or to companies as a whole. And so those are very fulfilling. The takeaway for me was like, well, that the framework works, but like the fulfillment, I love that everybody is an entrepreneur within Keylingo. The thing that we are constantly seeking as contributors and leaders out, if we're not working for our own company, is this thing of fulfillment. And the best way that our employees can feel fulfilled is truly by like giving back. is truly by what is your passion? And like, do you want to start a live, or do you want to have a newsletter, or do you want to be speaking at conferences? And how can we, the company, inspire and empower and motivate our employees to, and give them the frameworks and the tool set to be able to do that? Because when they do it right, it's fulfilling for them as individuals and for the business.
I love it. I love it. Great, great answer. And you were right. We are like blazing through this hour here. We're at 37 minutes. So I want to take a quick second. 37 minutes. It's like the 7th inning stretch. Everybody, all right, we got a little bit of time to go. Let's take a little stretch. I want to remind you to please follow Kristin Gutierrez and just watch her amazing career unfold before your eyes. Get her book, Be a Better Sales Leader. And also, folks, please keep the comments coming. Don't forget the raffle. We're going to raffle off 2 books, one of which will be signed by Kristin herself, and she's going to be sending that to you. And one of which will be the Kindle version. Nothing against Europe, but it's just got some shipping challenges that make it a little more difficult. So anyway, keep those comments coming. We absolutely love it. And we've got about 20 minutes to go. If you're just joining us, I am here with Kristin Gutierrez from Be a Better Sales Leader. And we are diving into some questions that hopefully I know I'm getting a lot out of already, and nuggets that you can use right now, actionable things that can help you improve as a professional, no matter where you are in your career journey. And don't forget to follow Keylingo as well on LinkedIn and YouTube also. All right, let's keep it going. What is the next question, team? Let's see what we got. Okay, in today's rapidly evolving business landscape, what strategies do you employ? You hear this next word a lot, to future-proof your skills and career. I think that's the next cliche. Future-proof is going to be the next word that's banned from certain areas of professional life. But for the time being, it's still very relevant. So talk to us about future-proofing your skills and career, Kristin.
That is so funny you said that. I just took future-proof off my LinkedIn headline yesterday.
Good timing.
I love it. I love the concept though. Yeah, so we can go rapid fire through some of these, but learn professional development. I mean, we have to keep learning. It's one of the pillars in the book, Be a Better Sales Leader. I broke it into 3 pillars. And the 3rd pillar is all about continuous learning, like showing up to these live events, asking questions, booking strategy calls. Who is out there, whether you're trying to grow a business or whether you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, or who else has advice? I proudly spend tons of money on mentorship. Like, I have free mentors, right? No, of course, I give back as a mentor, but I also pay a lot of money for other people who have been there, done that, because you need somebody who's one step ahead of you to show you the way.
So true. And everybody knows that being a lifelong learner is something that they should be doing. But, you know, everybody knows they should eat right and go to the gym regularly too. But we need people like you to coach us and remind us how important that is. So future-proof still is relevant, but I don't know, let's give it another 30 days and then it's banned. Everyone, get rid of that. No, just kidding. All right. I see people scanning the QR code, which I hope means that you're selling some books as we're going through this live event. So let's see what the next question is. Okay. We're on to advice. What would you offer individuals looking to enhance their personal brand impact? You are the perfect person to be answering this question, regardless of their natural social energy level. So I know you're like me. We're perpetual optimists. We're kind of extroverts, but you know, there might be people out there that really want to improve their personal brand that are introverts, and you know, they get their energy from different places, and that's totally fine. That doesn't mean that you can't have an amazing personal brand. And I am listening with all ears. So please share with us personal brand stuff.
If I can be so vulnerable with everybody, I am an introverted extrovert. So, right, it's not a bait and switch. I have all of this energy all of the time, but I absolutely require time to decompress. Like when I go to a conference, after it's done, I'm like in my room, like decompressing. But I think, you know, oh, you want to hear something amazing?
Yes.
The NFL. So my dad is like the National Football League. I was like, yes,
Wait, what is that? Go ahead.
yeah. The NFL is bringing me in next month to do a workshop.
Are you
And
kidding?
I am like, for real. This is
Oh my God.
amazing.
That's so
Yes,
cool.
this is amazing. And
Congratulations.
thank you. But I bring it up because there's this whole thing of like executive presence. And I would put personal branding, thought leadership, clear communication, the art of negotiation, how to say no. I would put all types of topics under this broad concept of executive presence. So who are you? Where are you in your career? Where are you in your organization? Are you an individual contributor? Are you wanting to become a director? Are you already a VP? Do you want to make it to the C level? And like, what is that thing that's going to get you to the next step? So one thing I love to do in my Thursday, we're doing it right after this, my Thursday weekly group call is to coach others on how to do this thing, right? Which is enhance your personal brand. But you have to first do a self-assessment of like where you are and what it is that you want to move the needle. So, the reason this book exists is because I asked my then CEO, we were hiring a CRO. Could I make a run for it? And he respectfully said, no, you're not ready. And I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
So I woke up one day. This is how it goes. I woke up one day and I thought, well, I should write a book. And so for anybody out there, like writing a book instantly is going to add credibility to your personal brand, right? And so then I invested in how to write a book in 3 months. Because I thought, well, there's got to be other people out there who can teach me the strategies to making my process faster, smoother. I've got 2 kids. I've got a full-time job. Like, how do I do this thing? And so I started writing the book. Literally, it was my birthday. So March 1st, write that down. March 1st, 2023, I started to write the book. I was then let go from my job April 17th of 2023. From a VP of sales job. And then I released Be a Better Sales Leader May 31st of 2023. So in 3 months, I wrote and launched and released a book while getting fired or let go from my job as a VP of sales. Because again, things happen to you, not for you. But even if I was still working there, would have still had as much success because I broke it into the pillars, but it massively enhanced like my brand as a leader because I had at that time like 12, 15, I've lost track, like 15 plus years of working in this industry, working in sales, having all of my, Malcolm Gladwell says it takes
one of my favorites,
10,000 hours to be an expert. Well, you, me, and everybody watching, we have way more than 10,000 hours having lived. Somebody did the math for me yesterday in one of my free masterclasses. At my age, I have more than 357,000 hours that I've lived on this planet.
No way. No way. That's impossible. I don't think you've been alive for 350,000 hours. Wait, I need to do the math again. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do the math. So we are all experts. And so how can you lean into your expertise? And listen, we talked about pivots earlier, so I'll wrap here, but like, even when you pivot, I firmly believe that LinkedIn headline of yours should be updated and optimized every month, very frequently. That thing is like what people look at when you do your posts, when you send your DMs, and like, how do you keep yourself fresh and relevant and remove words like future proof, apparently.
That's a huge nugget, actually, Kristin, because I think a lot of us, including me, have gone through seasons where you just kind of forget about, what's your LinkedIn headline? Is it still relevant for what you're doing? I loved how you said, to boost or enhance your personal brand, you really need to think about what it is you want to share, how you can be authentic in those posts and vulnerable. Authenticity and vulnerability, I think, are two of these sometimes elusive things that, man, when you read a post that you say that's authentic and the person is being vulnerable, that it's going to skyrocket. It's going to get lots of likes and it's going to get lots of comments because it touches a nerve with more than just the person making the post. I mean, people gravitate to authenticity and vulnerability. So excellent answer. Oh my gosh, the time's going so fast. Let's keep going. And I know that before we move on to the next question, I just want to say to the audience that Kristin has a consulting arm to her business. And I think the production team has gotten a hold of the URL, which they'll post at some moment before we end today. Here it is. Kristin Gutierrez, speaker strategist. So scan that QR code, check it out. And let's get some more nuggets from Kristin through these next few questions that we have in 12 minutes. Let's see what we got. People are scanning that QR code. All right, production. What do we got next for Kristin? Thank you so much. Can you elaborate on the methodologies or frameworks you frequently leverage in your work, such as, wow, good timing, the KG method?
Yeah. Here's what I learned from a mentor. Ryan, I'm going to blow your, when I first started my entrepreneur journey, April of 2023, it was me. I'm selling me. But then I learned that people buy systems. Your clients buy systems. They want, they like you and your people are your differentiator, right? But ultimately, what are the systems? What are the frameworks? What are the methodologies that you have? And so I started to create courses and coaching on all of the frameworks. So I've got frameworks for how to sell cold in the DMs. This is a tried and true. I coach every single person who wants it on this methodology. And I've created courses and I'm constantly updating the content because as I coach through it, like I did yesterday in one of my master classes, I'm constantly oh yeah, I should add this thing to this framework. Another framework that you've heard me already talk about today is my innovation framework and how we saved an account using this framework, but then how you can literally, as an LSP, you can sell SEO, you can sell MT, you can sell human translation, you can sell anything and everything using this innovation framework. And so I really realized how do I best help others is through how do I help people increase thought leadership, sell without selling, and iterate your offers. We don't really think in the language services space as offers, but truly the proposal, the quote, whatever you call it, that you're dangling in front of your clients, you're making an offer. And what are the strategies that you can use to differentiate your offer from somebody else? Because otherwise your clients are not educated. You've got two types of clients out there. You've got mega enterprise buyers who can run circles around you, and you got to admit that and meet them where they are. And you've got other buyers that make up the majority of the space, and they're not educated. They don't spend every day talking translation, talking interpretation. And so how do you sell to them? How do you give them what they want, but sell them what they need? This is crazy. Yes. Yeah. And so
go ahead, please. I'm loving this.
Yeah. So that's it. It's a framework. It's a methodology. It's being smart enough to add the value on top of the thing, the interpretation cost, or the client needs to know that maybe they need their handheld. Maybe they need the Loc 101 thing, maybe whatever they need, you need to be able to give that to them. And then when there's so much value on top of it, using a methodology, a framework, a system, a differentiator, now you'll win, because like
Yeah.
somebody's winning. And if it's not
Yep.
you, it's somebody else.
You know, Kristin, I'm applauding everything that you say, and I just want to say that one of the themes that I'm hearing that are running through every answer that you've given is something that I think is often lacking in today's language services industry, and that is an abundance mindset, where so many people and often companies are operating from a scarcity mindset. I think that you mentioned the big behemoths of our industry that, yes, can run circles around us in certain areas of our industry, which Keylingo, for one, is happy to let them have those opportunities, because there are so many other ones that really need the type of support and solutions that Keylingo and so many other companies in our industry can provide. And there are just tons of opportunity out there. So I love that you come at all of your answers from a mindset of abundance. And I think that's so important. All right. We've got 7 minutes. We're gonna make sure that we end on time so that we respect everybody's time. But don't forget, you can stream this later. You can check out Kristin's website, her consulting, her book, everything. But we've got some more questions and nuggets of wisdom that we're going to get to you before we're out of time. As someone looked up to for productivity insights, how do you effectively identify and manage the bottlenecks that arise in your daily routine, which with kids, you surely have them?
Well, now you threw the kids thing in there. I mean, people know, anybody who's worked with me knows, like sometimes you just have to like let go. I'm just going to say that, because of preschool or school calls, I work from home. I'm across the street from preschool. Their dad like works halfway across town. Right. And so I'm often the one being like, oh, that's it. It's very humbling to just shut down and like go be with my kids. So balance of parenthood aside, I have a 4-step system that I was just clearing my phone. Like I just created a screensaver for, right? And if this is helpful for anybody, we can send that around. But I'm going to tell you, this is my framework for boosting productivity. If you can control this for you, you can teach others and your team or other colleagues and departments you work with how to do the same. But recognize that this framework works unless there's a fire, and a fire could be anything from parenthood to clients to whatever, right? So like understanding that there's a give and a take. The first step is to decide, as a salesperson, like, let's be real, it is hard to make calls day after day, week after week, month after month. But like salespeople are, more than any other department, measured by outcomes. Like it is a very tangible thing. If I don't have a quote, if I don't have the deals and the revenue coming in, I'm not going to have a job tomorrow. Right. So decide that you're going to do the thing. Is it post? Let's talk about like cold calling. And then the first thing is, and let's talk about cold calling in the terms of if I'm making calls or sending emails. Cold calling is not dead, but like also, how do you DM cold in like LinkedIn? I love that strategy. Decide you're going to do it and then take one step. So often we get concerned or confused or hung up if like, oh man, I'm going to start working out, but like now I have to like go buy new workout clothes, and like we've overcomplicated it. Just go on a walk around your block. Like that's one step. Walk to the end of your driveway, like leave your desk. Like that is the step. What is the one step you're going to make? And then the next step is, the third step is to lean in. So lean in to your team, lean into a mentor, lean into your colleague, lean into for help. Like leaning in, depending on what the step is or the decision point is going to look a little different. But again, we said this earlier, nobody does everything alone. Like the best leaders, like Oprah, she's a powerhouse, right?
Yes.
Like she barely works. She spends like 2 hours a day reviewing like top line budget allocation stuff. And the rest of her time, she's drinking like rosé and doing yoga.
Okay. Nice.
I just heard that in a book. This is why I said that. But like, but the point is you're leaning in for help to the people who can help you. And then the fourth and most fun step is to celebrate everything. If we had more time, I would tell you like a super fun story. But the point is, we often think, just like we overcomplicate like taking a step, we think we only are going to celebrate the biggest wins. No, if you just did a post, if your decision point was post on LinkedIn, Kristin said post on LinkedIn, then like celebrate that, send that post link around to all of your colleagues and be like, oh my gosh, send it to me. Be like, oh my gosh, I just did the post. Like celebrate every single thing along the way. You should be celebrating multiple things along your day because movement builds momentum and this snowballs. And what our brains are looking for, to conclude on like how to master productivity, our brains aren't actually looking like I am the queen of like LFG, like let's go, like take massive action. But it's not action our brains are looking for. We get a dopamine hit every single time we accomplish something, which means like crossing something off of our to-do list, and we're looking for progress. So this 4-step system leans us into the progress. And once we start to see progress, guess what? It's easier to keep going.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. So decide, take a step, lean in, and celebrate. Awesome. Really, really great. Oh my gosh. I love that framework. Okay. It is 11:58 and we have a piece of business that we need to get through before we wrap up. We're going to have to do another one of these, Kristin, because we did not get through to all of our questions. But we've got a minty to wrap up. And as everyone is taking a look at that, I just want to remind everyone to please keep the comments coming. You got another minute. We're going to have a raffle where you're going to get either a signed book or a Kindle version of Kristin's book, Be a Better Sales Leader. And to wrap up, we want you to scan this last QR code where it says Inspired Action Post Session. What one action you're inspired to take after today's session. So please take a look at that Menti and let's see what results we get. And I just want to extend a huge thank you to today's guest. I get to say your name one more time, Kristin Gutierrez, and all that you're doing to inspire others. You're inspiring us all. You're inspiring me with all the great things that you're doing. And let's see, it's 12 o'clock. So let's quickly check and see if we've got some results. What one action are you going to take? Let's see. Okay, Kristin, are your eyes better than mine? Can you see the answers there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna take your advice and lean in. Let's see. Make a bigger impact in my role. Okay, that looks like a big one. Let's see. Define clear, actionable goals. That's the biggest one. I love that. And I like the word actionable in there. Launch my personal brand. You've got some people that are going to be posting on LinkedIn, Kristin. They probably will mention you as their inspiration. And let's see, embrace a new challenge. I don't know. I can't read it. It's too small. I'm sure that everybody else can read it but me. But super, super successful live event, Kristin. Don't forget the consulting arm, her book, everything. Kristin, thank you so much for being with us today. And I hope we can do it again in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. Yay. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks. Take care. And thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.